All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Legend of the Three Kingdoms. Yes, this is one of my homebrew D&D games set in my weird, messed up homebrew D&D campaign setting, and the people below me are the people that like me just enough to show up and torment me once every other week. So, I mean, that's
Torment
fun.
him.
I don't know. I've had a couple situations where I'm like, this is a really cool fight, and then you guys just steamroll it. I'm like, it was cool in my mind. Um,
No session survives contact with the players.
I'm still. I think it was. I think it was Daniel. I'm still mad about the sharks and control water.
Those were orcas.
Orcas. Oh, it's orcas. There we
It
go.
was
Yeah.
even worse, so they could survive on the land.
They just flop there. I
Yeah,
created this really cool three-dimensional underwater encounter. What did they do? They controlled water to create a like 60-foot cube of air, and all the orcas and all the dangerous sea creatures just flopped on the ground where these guys just poked them to death.
It was like when Taliesin did the thing with the boat. It's like
Yep.
really cool encounter. Whoosh.
I
It
uh,
was a cool encounter.
if it makes you feel any better, I had a super cool encounter planned for my players once, where a possessed demon ship was coming at them in this surrounded by clouds and everything. Basically, I ripped off Captain Harlock,
Oh, okay.
and
Very cool
they
anime.
the druid changed into a giant eagle, flew the bard in, and the bard put up a wall of immovable force right in front of the boat. So the demon skull in the cloud, just like a dog hitting a sliding glass door. Bonk.
I've seen people use immovable rods in a similar fashion, but immovable rods are even worse because they're small and you generally don't see them until you run into them.
Show me a DM also that doesn't steal from a show or media in some form. I'll give you some inspiration. Hey, you want to steal from something? Steal from was it Stardust?
I'm trying to think some of the
The
more
one that
obscure
has
ones.
De Niro in it.
Yes.
I stole I stole from a D&D video game once. I stole from Dark Sun Shattered Lands because that's an awesome game. It's not stealing, it's inspiring. And God, what's the illusions? Yeah, they're illusions. They're not. I'm alluding to something that I've read. What's really fun is I don't think I've had this happen, but I have had it happen at tables where I was at. There was one D&D Adventure League game during the Ravenloft game that it was Clue, and it was so Clue that there were maps that were included with this particular module. It was literally a Clue board, but they had recreated it and like drawn, but it literally the layout was exactly Clue, with the secret passages and everything. And kind of the plot that gets you there is somebody gets murdered and it turns into a whodunit. It's actually a really fun adventure. But I remember playing it at a convention, and like in the middle of it, we had a guy playing. I think he was a barbarian, and he was a relatively smart person, but he played a dumb barbarian. Or it might have been a she. I can't remember. Anyway, they were smart, but they were playing dumb. And randomly in the middle of it, they go, "It's Clue!" And we all kind of looked up and said, "What?" He's like, "No!" And because our particular dungeon master hadn't done this, some of the other dungeon masters actually brought clue boards to use for your minis because the squares were actually the right size and everything, so you could literally use a clue board for this map. And none of us had caught on to it at that point because I was running that convention, so I was in 7 levels of confusion at that point. And so we all just kind of looked and we put the map together. And we're like, really? And then the DM, who just hadn't thought to mention it to us, goes, "Oh yeah, you guys didn't know?" We're all just like, "No." He's like, "Oh yeah, it's Clue." Oh. Wait a minute. So that's why we had to find the murder weapon and figure out who did it and where they did it? Oh my. And it was this huge light bulb for all of us. It was super, super fun. So I do enjoy, because I've seen it happen a couple of times where people go, "Wait a minute. This is insert media here." And you just feel really, really smug for a little bit where you're going, "Yes, it is." And it took you 4 hours to figure that out.
Yep.
Announcements. This Saturday, I get to play Avatar with some members of the Realms cast and this cool guy named Patrick. And then not this Saturday, but next Saturday, I'm actually going to be running a Cypher System game for Zelda Universe to kind of prep for our campaign 2. So anyone that's watching this that wants to watch me DM a different system and confuse my players significantly, come watch. It's
Is Lee
fun.
gonna play that mute fairy?
I hope to God not. I've got to talk to. I gotta remember. I think I got to talk to Dale because I still have the audition games that we ran for Realms of the Wild 6 years ago. I still have them on my computer, and I want to upload the one that Dale was in because it was amazing. But I have to get permission from all the people that played. One of these days, I'll do it. Well, I wouldn't do it. We'd probably upload it to ZU. But yeah. Anyway, anything else going on right now? There's a new 1D&D playtest. There are cool things in it. There are dumb things in it, which is kind of normal for 1D&D playtest. It's big. It is by far the biggest playtest they've done thus far. I think there's like 4 or 5 classes in it and a bunch of new spells and stuff like that. It's impressively big. Trying to think if there's anything else going on. Now that I can think of. Yeah. So, I guess it's time to return to the legend of the 3 kingdoms. The party has finally triumphed over the Bloody Fang. They entered the dragon's den expecting to fight a skeletal dragon. But the more they wandered and explored, the more they discovered there was no dragon here. They found trap after trap after trap, slowly whittling away their resources, but eventually made it down to the bottom layer to find the Bloody Fang and 4 of the missing people from the city. As they dealt with these 4 people who had apparently been gayest into attacking them, they were able to take out the Bloody Fang without killing any of the captives. And after dealing with him, they were able to discover a back room where they found the 5th and final missing person, a young girl who had been said to be very skilled with clothwork, whom they found bruised and abused in a bathtub, wearing next to nothing. So after scooping her up, curing her wounds, and bringing her back to Scornmote, that is where we left the party. So, So I guess we can kind of decide exactly what you guys want to do, because technically we ended the session, I think, right after you discovered the girl, and you guys haven't quite.
We treated her.
Yeah, but you guys haven't quite left the underground. Hadn't officially told me that you were leaving the underground place yet.
Yeah, we hadn't do that yet.
No.
So I guess I can take you guys back there real quick. Was there anything else you guys wanted to kind of explore in here?
I think actually, I don't think just Relm would justify leaving Felicity. I mean, like, if you guys know, like, if there's anything you're inclined to look for.
Mm-hmm. I will say, while you guys were, getting her, back on her feet and everything,
My understanding, she isn't conscious.
Yeah, whatever happened to her was brutal. And so while it seems that you guys, because I know you cast a bunch of spells on her, it seems that physically she's okay right now, but just because of what happened, it's probably going to take her at least a little bit of time to actually regain consciousness. Unless you guys happen to have like smelling salts or some magical version of that.
Well, I think that was the assessment from Relm, because he has, since he's trained in medicine, it's like, she's just extremely exhausted and unconscious, and quite frankly, at this point, it might be better. So,
But I will say, you guys did find kind of a small pile of vials nearby. That if anyone takes just a minute or two to kind of look through, it's a bunch of empty healing potion vials.
Oh, fuck.
So, beyond that, again, the room that you're in is just very, very extravagant and very, very expensive stuff in it. But beyond that, it doesn't seem like there's anything else here of value.
I think Vala will, after burning the Bloody Fang's body multiple times,
Okay.
Into a fine powder, I will take that powder, put it into a small bag, and then go. When we leave and I go through the main entrance, I will deposit the bag into the sphere of nothing.
Wow. Okay.
Whoa!
Sphere of Annihilation, by the way, but
Sphere of Annihilation, yes. I'm taking no chances.
that's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I mentioned at the last the game session as well. You guys would have been informed that there were 2 more tokens to be found in the dungeon.
Yeah.
And since you no longer have a time limit on you, you would have been able to find the others. So you guys do have 3 tokens on you. If you want to know where they were. Let me reveal the stuff that you guys didn't find. So up here, there was 3 other rooms with chests in them. 2 of them had tokens in them. I don't know if you guys can see that up here. Yeah. So, yep, Dungeon from Hell. So yeah, as you guys come out, the first thing you notice is the guards that effectively threw you in. You do not see them anywhere. But you do see people kind of wandering around the town. And one of them kind of notices you, and instantly you see this kind of recognition, and you watch them just kind of run off. As a few other people just kind of start coming over very kind of carefully, and one of them sees that you're carrying this girl wrapped in, I'm assuming you took a sheet or something off the bed to
Well,
wrap
there is clothes.
Oh yeah, I mean, you guys had
Yeah.
like you had all of their rooms there, so you could have
Yeah.
you could have just found her room.
Whoa, hey,
Oh yeah.
when we get topside, that's immediately when Relwyn will use his Pearl of Brief Discourse, and he will, if you can hear me, we have made it out. We are here. We have found. I think he would skip like we found them. We found Felicity.
Okay. And you hear back. Oh, we have quite a bit to talk about. As soon as you're topside, I'll see you in a few moments. And the other people that kind of come up, they seem kind of hesitant to say anything to you, but they see the girl in your arms, and you can see both of them are like, what you, and finally you hear a deep kind of booming voice. Well, certainly took you long enough. As Bartholomew comes forward. I was starting to worry we would have to send someone after you. And then he sees the girl, and he kind of looks at you, Relwyn, and just kind of between the two, you kind of asking, do you run out of spells? Do I need to heal her? You guys just kind of see that as a non-verbal communication that just clerics have between each other.
Yeah. He just looks at her. She needs time.
Well, let's if you were wondering, we have retaken the town. Surprisingly enough, the only real power they had here was whatever spell they cast to cause fire to jump out of the ground. That one was a doozy to deal with, let me tell you. But once we got rid of that, most of the clergy decided to leave. Remarkably enough, as the most senior member of the church remaining, I have inherited the leadership. So that's interesting. Liliane, if you'd like a place back with us, I wouldn't complain.
Well, I think I need to help with it for now.
I understand completely. Figured that would be the response, but there's always a chance.
But yeah, thank you.
Oh, it wasn't an altruistic offer. There's a lot of paperwork that has to get done.
Yeah.
Well, we have taken over one of the larger inns that they were using as personal residences. Why don't you bring her there and we'll see if we can't get her father to meet you.
I would imagine they're probably already on the way.
More likely than not. And he kind of gestures after you. So what are you guys doing?
Taking her wherever we need to be, and I got enough charges on the discourse thing too, so I'd imagine I can also just fill them in. Like, we're located here. It's safe. You don't have to worry about the fires anymore.
So, getting to the inn itself is about a 10-minute walk from where the pit is. You guys do notice that the pit looks significantly less kind of ominous than when
Is
you
it
were thrown
cooler
into
here?
it. Slightly.
Because I remember it was sweltering as you got closer into the crater. And
Yeah. The crater itself is no longer radiating any sort of heat. The city itself is still kind of warm because despite the fact that the spell has been
it was recent.
ended, just kind of the ambient heat that was kind of stored every time fire would just magically appear. The city itself is still much warmer than it normally would be at this time of year, but probably in the next couple of days here, it'll turn to its regular kind of gloomy self. Crucitalia in and of itself is not known for its balmy temperatures. So, but But yeah, as you guys kind of get to the end, the first thing that you notice as you get in there is there's kind of a roaring fire and this kind of flood of scents of food and spirits. And it seems that you've kind of walked into a bit of a celebration. And as soon as you walk in with the girl in your arms, the celebration kind of dies. And they show you to a room upstairs where she can rest. And as you come out, her father kind of stops you. And he just kind of looks at you, and he looks through the door to see his daughter looking relatively pristine because of all the healing spells, but still unconscious. Just goes,
She's been through a lot. It's going to take time.
you just see kind of the anger boiling up in him.
The one who's responsible for this is gone.
Very dead.
Without speaking a word, he goes into the room, picks up a chair, plops it right next to her bed, and just kind of grabs her hand and sits down. You hear some steps from the stairway. You see the sheriff coming up. Well, seems you all tweren't bad choice for this particular job. I think we all need to have a conversation. Sound about right to you?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Join
Yeah.
me in my office. And he goes over and he brings you guys back downstairs. You go into another room on the base level. Normally would be used for like parties or meetings and stuff like that. Just a smaller room with a table and stuff. And you can see that there's already refreshments on the table. Figured y'all might be a little bit parched after everything that you went through, and might enjoy a snack as well. So he sits down. Do you guys sit down? Do you take drinks? Do you ask for anything? Because the drinks they have in here are mostly like water and that. If you want something stronger, you can ask for it.
I think Roland's just sitting at the table, just like appreciative to have water.
Yeah, yeah.
Argenta will take something stronger.
Okay. So they come back and they have a fortified. They give you a goblet of fortified wine.
Perfect.
So, do you want to talk about what you did, or would you like to hear what we did?
Briefest of summations, the one who was actually the dragon is gone. He obtained people, basically, and utilized them as resources themselves.
Sounds about right.
If you go down there, it is, for the most part, was completely just meant to just torture people through an extreme measure of booby traps and
We'll be sure
psychology.
to.
I'm
We'll
not
be
sure
sure
how
to
effectively
send
effective.
our best down there to disarm and disable
No.
anything.
There is a purifier down there, and how has it described where?
That's rather fascinating. Did you guys find the control bracelet for it?
I don't believe so.
No.
Oh, it's too
The
bad.
gentleman, I wonder if
To be fair, I may have burned it and then tossed it into the annihilation.
Rowan goes, "You are very talented in many ways, but your fire's not strong enough to destroy a magical item."
Sphere of Annihilation might do that, though.
Well, I think you would notice a bracelet in a mound of. It looks at ash.
Yeah, it was very fine powder.
Well, we'll have to see if we can find it. Those spheres, while they are rather dangerous, remarkably useful tool for tunneling.
I believe this gentleman's like his name would have been Klein. If that is Klein, that was the wizard.
Mhm.
The gentleman that played. He actually may, if his memories are coming back, he actually may have some thoughts on that.
We'll have to have a conversation with him. To be perfectly honest, it's kind of a pain in the ass before all this happened, so not quite sure what he's going to be like after.
He's a very accomplished wizard now, apparently.
Well, he was an accomplished wizard before, just a bit of a pompous ass.
Now he has resources.
Yeah.
I've been told that not everyone you brought back came back 100%. What happened to that young lady? Because I know I'm gonna have an earful from her father once this is all done.
We don't know. We follow her. Is that well? That but is the saber belonging to the bear that uses Wyvern, why the other dragon or Wyvern with the dragon?
Speaking of the
Yeah.
dragon, y'all didn't find any dragons down there? Because
There
there
was
was a
never a
dragon at one point. It burned the church down. Like, we know there was a dragon at one point.
Yeah.
But it
There
wasn't
was
down
a-
there.
Not that one.
Well, that's slightly upsetting, to be perfectly honest. Not that I'd hoped you all had faced a dragon, but it would be nice for it to be dead.
As
Quite frankly, we never would have found. We never found any signs that there actually was a place where a dragon even could be. Right?
no.
Yeah.
As for the girl, just we found her beaten half to death.
Yeah.
Cast a bunch of healing spells on her. Seemed like it was a prolonged torture because she was in a private room full of used healing vials. So
Well, that's not particularly heartening. I may have old Bart give her have a conversation with her. Tends
I'm
to
sorry.
be good.
You're talking about Balthazar, right?
Balthazar, that's his name, yeah.
Oh,
of course.
okay.
I've always said Balthazar. I never said Bartholomew,
Okay.
ever. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm an awesome dungeon master that remembers all the names of my NPCs. Thank you very much.
How many campaigns you running?
7 and
Balthazar,
a
it's
half.
not- It's not a name I've heard of in quite some time.
It's a nice.
That's
It's a
me.
good. It's a good name. I may
can-
have Balthazar. Just give her a conversation or two. He's not a bad person to talk to. You know, as long as you don't bring up religion, because boy, that boy can talk your ear off about the Dark Lady. Up one side, down the other. I have learned things that I never wanted to know about that faith.
How openly has he been talking about her?
Well,
Has he been sharing new, unique perspectives?
we'll just say that before y'all went and just broke the city in and of itself. I wasn't 100% sold on that particular message. Now, I'd never say anything in public, but private, enough wine.
Yeah.
Might have a conversation. I found that old Balthazar had his own ideas.
Good.
Personally, I believe ideas are much better than beliefs.
Well,
Yeah.
depending on the beliefs. Like I have a rather firm belief in the idea that your ability to make your own choices, choose your own path, well, that's the most important thing any person can have. And anyone that takes that away, whether through magic, whether through force, well, they need to be dealt with harshly.
You're not wrong.
No.
Well, not in this particular instance.
Almost I have one question.
Hmm?
Is Terrace here?
Terrace is not with you currently. She did walk out with you guys from.
Is she at the end? Is she?
The whole group that came with you went to the end. So,
Okay.
but since you guys immediately went from the end to the upstairs to this other room, you wouldn't really know what happened to her.
I didn't know because of Lillian if she was staying with us.
She, to be perfectly honest, she probably would have at least mentioned to Lillian that go ahead and deal with this. I'll find you later.
Yeah.
But beyond that, you guys haven't seen her since you got here. Because there's a lot of people here, and a lot of them are very drunk. And loud.
I imagine they don't have to be hiding anymore.
Yeah. Well, can't say I look forward to what's going to happen next month when the tax collectors come, but guess we can cross that bridge when it comes.
Yeah.
Side question: I think Rowan's heard of these tax collectors too. I imagine
Mhm.
they make the rounds, including up to
Oh,
even even to the monsters' village. They still
Oh, yeah,
are no
every-
strangers to.
Yeah.
every city is required to pay a tax to the Dark Lord, and it's generally collected depending on how far away you are from Castle Tormund Rift. It's generally collected everywhere from every 3 months to every 6 months. Meisenford, with it being so far away, you guys a lot of times would only see them once every 6 months.
Now that Rowan's awakened, I think now he's actually out. He's one of the few people that have left a village and he's awakened and he's been pulled. He's just realize how absolutely fucked up it's been that you live in a place where you're literally taking your life, leaving your home, and yet we're paying taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And the absolute the more it dawns on him that his world is not a world, and this process.
Not only that,
Yeah.
the taxes, for the most part, the taxes are monetary. But anytime a city could not pay their taxes, it was extremely common for them to give effectively sacrifices. They would just give generally young people. Gender didn't really matter. But they would just give part of their population away to pay back taxes and things like that. So not quite the kind of blood taxes of Sanguinius, but it was still there was always a threat of, if for whatever reason, if the leader of your city didn't spend their money correctly, stole whatever, there was always a chance. It was one of those threats that parents would use to keep their kids in bed at night. The tax people come, there's not enough in the coffers, they might take you.
I think Rowan, considering all this, is dawned. It was should we do anything about them? I know I've never.
I mean,
we could.
if we do something about the Dark War that's going to have a trickle down effect and
you never mess with the tax collectors, because if the tax collectors don't come back, the blood pack comes looking for them, and you definitely don't want to deal with them.
Oh, the Blood Pact. I know them.
Yeah, they again, we'll deal with that when we're done. Hopefully, there's enough gold and stuff down there that we should be
Yeah.
able to keep our taxes up to date for a
Whoa.
while.
No, I think
Oh, how much are taxes? I've never bothered to ask.
Well, to be perfectly honest, depends on what the tax collectors are feeling at the time. Generally, you pay about 10 gold a head in the city. You can pay less for kids if they're feeling nice.
How many people live here currently?
Well, right now, doing a quick head count, probably maybe 150, 200 tops. At the peak, few thousand.
Let's see here. Characters. Yeah.
He did.
Inventory.
I know.
Eric,
I know they
Ar-
spent. Go ahead.
Argenta just reaches into her bag, um, pulls out 2,000 gold, plops it down. There you go.
Son, one of these days, you and I are going to have a conversation about proper ways to invest your money. And he kind of scoops the gold up. That conversation's not coming today, but someday.
Speaking of which, you're going to go down there. There is going to be a room apparently filled with treasure. Do not touch it.
it is a moon.
Ah, we have a few that are rather skilled with the magical arts. One of them is going to go down there, just kind of spray everything with a nice disenchantment, everything.
Yeah.
Well, that may be a creature.
Well, we'll also be bringing people that have a pretty decent sword arm. So now that we no longer have the threat of a dragon, which, let's be honest, none of us were ever going to be able to take down, I think all of us are okay fighting something smaller than that. Especially if it didn't happen to kill you.
I don't know if I should be offended by that or not.
Well, what I'm saying is, maybe I just said that wrong. Anyway, we're happy that you're done. If you wanted to stay around here, none of us are going to be upset if you stay. I mean, we'll make you comfortable. There's plenty of empty houses. Y'all can have your pick.
As tempting as that is, there's still quite a bit of work to do.
That's what I figured. Again, had to make the offer.
And the offer is appreciated.
Council would have had my head if I hadn't at least tried.
Mm.
Do y'all have plans for what you're going to do next?
Are we still intending to go to the tower?
I think so.
Demise Tower?
Yeah.
Y'all are going there? What in the hell for?
We had so much fun here.
When I have that conversation with Argenta about how to use money effectively, you and I are going to have a conversation about what the word fun means.
I'm aware what the word antithesis means as well.
Apparently. Well, we haven't sent anyone to Demise Tower in, oh man, close to 6 or 7 years, but if y'all need a way to get there, I can send one of my deputies with you. We had we have a hidden boat. It's enchanted, takes you right up to the tower. Without it, let's just say I highly discourage you from putting any part of your body in that water that you'd prefer to keep attached.
Noted.
Understood.
Still don't know why you'd want to go to Demise, though. There ain't nobody there that's, I mean, the worst of the worst are there. I know I sent a few of them there. They're absolutely horrendous people. Even by the standards of this town, where we had some horrendous people in very high positions of power.
Well,
I think our thoughts are that there is not only are generally bad people kept there, but also the enemies of the Dark Lord.
Well, it's very possible. Just be very careful. They, how much do y'all know about Demise Tower?
Not very much.
Well, maybe I can repay you with a little bit of information. Again, being the sheriff here, it was my job to get rid of certain people if they proved to be more than my boys could handle. And because of that, I had a relationship with some of the people over there at Demise Tower. And well, like I said before, it's for the worst of the worst. Anyone that goes there tends to be far too powerful to kill and far too dangerous to leave alive. The interesting thing about it is if you don't have one of them enchanted boats, there's no way in or out of that tower. It seals itself. Because of that, they don't have guards or nothing like that. They have a single watchman, is what they call him. He doesn't sleep. He don't eat. We're not even sure if he breathes. But he is the eternal watchman, and anyone that gets out of line, he ensures that they never do it again. You meet him, you get as far away from him as you can possibly get. In my life, I have had one interaction with the Eternal Watchman. I saw him when I was a deputy for a brief fraction of a second, and I didn't sleep for a year and a half. Evil does not begin to describe that creature.
I'll talk about you know anything about that war? Man from your former possession?
Do I know anything about the Watchman other than his reputation?
Because you were the High Inquisitor, you never actually had to send anyone to Demise Tower. Anyone that got to you, you generally could deal with them on your own. So beyond the idea that you know that Demise Tower is, remarkably enough, no one outside, like this is the first time you guys have ever heard of the Eternal Watchman. The only thing most people know about Demise Tower is it is a prison where the worst of the worst goes. And I would probably say because of your position, Vivala, if you had ever brought it up with the mayor, it would have been one of the few times you would have seen him actually afraid, and he would have shut the conversation down instantly. No, we don't talk about that.
Got it. Uh, I've heard maybe a rumor or two, but anytime I tried asking about it, I was told we did not discuss him. So, unfortunately, I don't have any specifics.
Alright.
Do y'all have any other questions? I'll answer anything I can. I don't know much, but I've seen it. I've been there. It's a remarkably unsettling place.
Do they have a tourist board?
You know what? I think they did it one time, but they all quit.
Good to know. Maybe maybe there are openings. Become
Perhaps
required
y'all are
of
looking
jobs.
for a job. I can't say I can think of a worse job to have, but you're welcome to try and come up with one.
Were you able to see the way in? Amusing.
The way it works is as an enchanted boat gets there, the wall itself will actually kind of bend in on itself, almost as if it's wrapping around the boat. And as you go through, you eventually come out the other side, and there's a little dock in there. And anyone that sets foot on the dock will never leave, is what I have been told. So we never even got out the boat. Generally, whoever we had with us was normally unconscious, because they was bad enough that we didn't want them conscious. And we'd throw them on the dock, and then we'd turn the boat around and get the hell out of there. One time, I was curious and decided to wait a little bit longer. We saw a door on the opposite side of the dock open, and through the brief crack in the middle of it before we actually got through the wall, I saw him. And I'll never, for the rest of my days, forget that moment. Wish I could. Dark, black armor seemed to radiate evil. Wicked looking longsword on his hip. Evil spiked shield on his back. Helmet, you could see where eyes are supposed to be. Nothing but the fires of hell in there.
So there's a good chance if we take one of the boats, he'll be waiting for us.
Well, it only happened once. I dropped off maybe a dozen people in my time as a deputy and then as a sheriff.
Mhm.
And I only saw him once, so it's possible that he shows up every single time and we just didn't stay long enough, or he may only check every so often. I don't know. We never informed him we were coming or nothing like that. So there was no way that they could know that we were going to be there. Trip across the lake, as small as the lake seems, the trip itself takes better part of an hour.
Alright.
No one was ever able to explain to me why it took that long, because it sure as hell shouldn't. But it did every single time.
Matter of both that I have a feeling.
Very possible. Anyway, you all look exhausted.
Yeah.
If you want, you can take whatever rooms you want. The rest of us, again, there's plenty of houses out here. Most people that aren't going to bed down in the hall there after having far too much to drink. Most of us are going and hunting for either our old homes, if they still exist, or finding one that don't look to have occupants no more, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So y'all take whatever rooms you want upstairs. That's the least we can do, seeing as we can't really afford to pay you nothing.
Okay.
You
Thank
guys, you guys done good. You should be very proud of what you did here. I have no idea what's gonna happen the rest of it, but you've made yourself some friends here. I hope you all understand that. You also made yourself a hell of an enemy. And I will guarantee once the Dark Lord finds out what happened here, he's going to
I feel like we were already on this trip.
And I think he already knows.
Yeah.
Well, I have a bottle of brandy I've been saving for this day. So if y'all excuse me, I'll see you later.
Alright.
Yep.
You see him get up, head out.
So once he's out, I'm just like, so there's this demise tower warden. There's the blood pact, which for your sake, Rowan, where we come from, the blood pact was the current rulers of a country known as Fenrish. It's a country that ruled by might is right, so they were a party of Lycan blood hunters that currently ruled over the entire country. If it is the same group, which I believe so, given that he used the name again.
Yeah, and I mean all the other reason from all the ways have been used to break out, so I believe the king of them is gonna be demise, so it would be good if the blood back was here.
Speaking of which, would the tokens, they're connected to the bodies, correct?
Yeah.
Are the owners out here, or could they be in Demise Tower?
Deal with both of them,
Oh,
okay?
wait. I remember. We should go do that. Argenta, like, finishes her wine and stands up. The bodies are in that basement that Balthazar is
Yeah,
in,
both
so...
of
Oh, that's
them
right.
had them.
Good old Bart.
Let's walk and talk our way over there. We need to
Yeah.
free them.
So you guys have no problem getting there. Again, about 10 minutes to get over there because it wasn't that far away from the mouth of the dragon hole.
So Argenta's gonna do the thing she did last time, which is it's sort of like you have a ring of keys and you're just testing which one fits the lock.
Yep.
It's just like, this tongue? No. This tongue. Ah, there we go.
So the three that you find are Lord Serge Valois.
Okay, I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even gonna try.
Serge is just Serge. It's a French name. It's a French name I personally really enjoy.
I got that part, and then I heard the rest of it. I was like,
Oh,
no.
Valois, Valois.
Well, we do have them, and we did have them now. Oh, they all the same as
I didn't hear the last part of that. Aren't they all the same as what? Yeah, they're all the head of their own house.
So
So like
we have the old
Yeah, I can do that real quick.
Yeah.
If I go, so they're literally the name of each house. So there you guys are. The name of each house in Sanguinius is one of their names. So like I said, you had Lord Serge Valois, Lady Danielle Corsillon, and then the third one is Lord Fennec Dampierre. So, as you kind of return their token to them, you watch all of them kind of go from these very strange, kind of emaciated, scarred corpses to much more kind of familiar shapes. And they all the first thing you notice is Serge or Lord Valois. The first thing that he does as he kind of comes to is you watch him just kind of reach around, and he just picks up anything kind of long and generally pointed, and he instantly kind of points it at you, and you watch him kind of start swaying and moving as he activates the blade song and is effectively ready to fight you. Who are you?
Don't. We're the ones who tried to kill right before you got sucked here.
How long has it been?
For me, probably like a year. In reality, I don't know.
Yeah, we were all brought here. And a road races at various periods. For me, it was probably over that, but I had no idea how I would have been for you.
Merde.
And as I'm talking, I would have had a reflex when he made a rep. I would have had my hand on my sword and a reflex.
He looks over. He goes, Lady Corsillon. And he turns to you guys. Would you have something to cover her with?
Argenta will just kind of go up a floor and grab like a curtain and then come back down.
I guess we should be thanking you for what you've done here.
You're not the first ones. We freed 4 other vampire lords. I look at the others. 4, right?
Right now, you guys are 1, 2,
5.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have a total of 8, including these guys.
Gotcha.
So
So
We
you had
freed
5 before.
Yeah, we freed 5 other vampire lords.
And what have you done with them? Obviously, they are not traveling with you.
Yeah, I'll roll out the
They
map.
are in hiding right now from the Dark One.
And as you say that, you watch him spit. This is unacceptable. We
Yeah,
do
I'll
not
roll out.
hide.
They are researching how to go back.
If
I'll
I had
roll out the
1/10 of my army here, I would teach that traitor exactly what it means
I'll roll up the map of Crucitalia. This is where we are right now. It's nowhere where our world is from, as far as I'm aware, but they're hiding about here, and I'll just point at the location.
This is beyond undignified.
Where would you rather be back in the state you were in?
You see him kind of look at himself.
You remember anything before just now? You
Define
remember your
before.
time here? Your time here?
I have flashes. There was a large man, deep voice. He said nice things to us. Before that, lot of pain, if I remember correctly. Very unpleasant. I did not recognize my other lords with me.
Apparently the Dark Lord removed all your tongues and for lack of a better phrase, turned you out into an inanimate object
Well, that is...
that could be old and treated however you know that was what so.
You suddenly see the other lord that's with you go, well, that is very fascinating, I must say. For years before we exiled him, he was believing that he could use necromancy to do some very interesting things. So the fact that he was able to succeed in such a way is very, very interesting.
Rowan's for the first time, like he realizes what they're saying is like he used to be one of you.
Oh, you were not aware. Oh, of course you. And suddenly you see Lord Valois go, Fennec, shut your mouth.
I think for context you should know. I think you may want to know he is the ruler here.
Of course he is. He has always considered himself the ruler of all of us.
He's nigh unto a god in most cases to most people here.
He has always thought very highly of himself.
False god.
He's usually had the power to make people believe that.
Well,
we is the land.
I think this place does that, has made him.
Yeah.
If I can get a proper sword, I will show him exactly how undeified he is.
With all due respect, I think from what's been explained to me here about how this is working, it's going to take more than a sword.
I do not even know who you are. These three I know because they screwed up my country before we even got here. In fact, we are not even sure that you are not the reason that we are here.
From what we discovered is that we uncovered that he was sending information about how to break into the other planes to all three other nations. All three other nations started ripping open portals to other planes. It was chaos. We were solving that chaos. He was sending out scouts to try and figure out how you were succeeding, and you were helping his research. Then his research completed, and now we're here.
Yes, it's also simple for you, isn't it? You are always the heroes. You're always doing the right thing, but just so happens that when we finally call you in to actually explain yourselves, then all this happens. Very convenient. And as he says that, you finally hear Lady Colsion speak up. Serge, stop it. These people have helped us. And as much as I believe some skepticism is good, you are taking out your anger at him on these people. This is not okay. Danielle, do you not understand what is going on here? We've been taught like this. And they keep kind of arguing for a little bit. And finally you watch as Lady Danielle kind of raises her hand, and you all feel this kind of rush of magic come from her. And Lord Valois stops. We will have this conversation later, Serge. Do I make myself clear? And Lord Valois turns to you guys. He does a slight, very rude-looking bow. Thank you for what you have done for us. I think it is time for us to join the other lords and ladies.
I believe the conclusion may come to is the enemy of my enemy type situation.
Yes.
This one of your kind counsel, former whatever he may be, he has amassed a very large amount of power. He is affecting the dead crossing over. He is affecting the connection to the Dark Lady.
Suddenly, Lord Dampier goes, certainly fascinating. I have never thought that it... Dampier, shut up. You speak so much. All it takes is just a little moment to keep your mouth closed.
He has not only somehow convinced people to falsely worship her in the most egregious of ways, he's affecting the connection. He is also preventing people from crossing over. The dead are not allowed to transgress.
You see him kind of look over at Lord Dampier. And Dampier kind of, you see him like mouthing some numbers and
I guess
kind of
translation
drawing
more
in his
appropriate.
drawing in the air and in his hand. It seems like that would be very difficult for someone to do, but given a large enough amount of power, it is not outside the realm of reason. One would think the gods would intervene if someone was doing something so grave.
Well, the Dark Lady is currently cut off from the different plane.
And you watch as Lord Dampierre's eyes grow.
Connection is tenuous at best.
Oh, that is very, very bad. That is, forgive me. You see him kind of looking around, and damn, there's never a corpse when you need one.
Sorry, that would be my fault.
I must do some experimentation. If the Dark Lady is no longer controlling the dead, I mean, we are necromancers in us, Dampierre. We have a very good connection with the Dark Lady. I am curious to see how it is changed, how necromancy works. I mean, Valois with his little blade singing and dancing with his sword, none of that will matter. And Gosillon with her evocation magic. But the necromancers, we rely upon the Dark Lady doing her job. Mostly because we cause problems in that particular field, but it seems very bad. Valois, Gosillon, we need to speak with the other lords and ladies. This is far beyond anything we can do on our own. And Lord Gosillon turns towards you, or Lady Gosillon turns towards you. Again, I want to thank you for everything that you have done. You have been absolutely lovely to us all. I forgive Lord Valois. He is not used to not being the aggressor in most situations.
I can see that.
It is terrible.
If
Of course.
if the trial that we were attempting to have for you before all this ever happened ever resumes, know that my personal vote on the matter has changed.
But to know.
You all never not on trial somewhere?
Eh,
We've been on trial twice. I mean,
Long story.
our group was called International Incident for a reason.
Oh yeah.
And Lady Cosillon turns to you. Just a quick question for you. You've mentioned the other members of the Blood Council. Did he take the Owl of Sanguinius in here? Have you tried contacting Fenrish?
What we know, well, kind of what we're feeling, because it wasn't well known back then, but I have a connection to the other planes. Like I can sense when the portals open. This place is all at once sealed off, but open. I think we're in a different plane. And as it stands, we have all run into people that we recognize from different countries. I believe he is using the Blood Council as tax enforcers, for instance.
You mean the Blood Pack? The
Yes, the
Council of
Blood Pack.
Blood apparently have been turned into inanimate
The
objects?
the Blood Pack he's using as tax
Yeah.
enforcers.
Have you heard anything of the King of Valakovia?
I
No.
believe they're being held prisoner in most secure facility from what we've been told.
I guess that would track. I don't know if you have ever had dealings with the king, but he is a rather formidable person. And not someone I think we do not speak his name.
Hmm.
But I
Do we
believe
know if your king has been tokened? Or
The
would he
blood,
would he
the
have done
blood,
something else to him?
their king. Oh, the family's rule as a council.
yes, you obviously have never been to our country, but Sanguinius is ruled by the royal houses of Sanguinius. Each head of the house is part of a ruling council called the Blood Council.
The king she mentioned is the king of the human country.
Yes, Valakovia is a country to the east of us. They are very inventive, let us say, use firearms and build large walls, and also rely very heavily on divine magic.
and have no qualms about murdering the innocent. Oh, wait.
I think that was all the countries, though.
Yeah, I think that a universal thing about
Blood Council never
government.
Blood Council never murdered people in my name. So
I would never
Well,
attempt to justify some of the atrocities that we have done, but I will tell you when you sit at the edge, the world looks a very different place. With that being said, and she kind of gestures to the curtain that she's wearing, I would prefer to change into something slightly more comfortable.
I think there would be no shortage of
If you
clothing we
could
could find throughout the city.
simply lead me somewhere. I don't suppose there's any excess blood tax that we could use. All of us would benefit from some imbibing.
I will warn you based on one of the other one of your other equals. Probably won't taste good, but I know you need it.
Lovely. We will figure something out. Again, I appreciate everything you have done. And if this is ever resolved, know that you are welcome in Ascorsion.
Thank you very much.
Lord Valois, Lord Dampierre, if you would be so kind. And you watch both of them kind of like reach a hand out, and she takes both of them and they lead her up the stairs.
Yeah,
And
that's another taste of what some of the rulers were like in our continent for you,
yeah,
Rowan.
Or what was that?
I just said that was another taste of what some of the rulers were like on our continent,
Oh.
Rowan.
and slowly
Mm-hmm.
we went from 5 to 8
Yep.
miles away.
So that would be.
So that would give me 2 levels of.
Yep. And you would have instantly felt it as you returned the tokens to them. You would have felt some of your kind of life force growing. You guys, at this point, you guys probably would have recognized as Lillian, after the whole incident with the Dark Lady and everything, she looked physically frailer than she had when you guys first found her again. And as you collect more of these, you guys would have watched her just seem to get stronger. Like her shoulders fill out just a little bit more. You see a little more color in her face. She stands a little bit taller.
Okay. Oh,
So what do you all want to do?
I don't know about the rest of you, but I could really use some sleep.
So I guess best would be plan best to plan in the morning.
At dawn,
yeah.
we plan.
I going to go talk about another thing, but after that, yeah, I need to sleep.
Okay. So all of you are able to get your own room if you want it. Because it seems that nobody is actually sleeping in any of the rooms in the inn. And for the first time for a lot of you in a long time, you guys not only get a full night's rest, but you get a restful sleep. When you guys come back, you notice that all the beds upstairs have not only been made, but like the wash basins in there have been supplied with fresh water, and like it seems that they've kind of cleaned everything up, and housekeeping has come through to give you guys a nice place to stay. When you awake in the morning, you are all woken up hearing this very loud, thunderous pounding on one of your doors. I will tell you which one in a couple seconds here. Relwyn, you wake up to this just incessant pounding. And the pounding is so loud that the rest of you hear it in your own rooms. And if anyone has a wall that they share with his room, like you can feel it. What would you like to do?
I think Rowan has just by nature learned to be a light sleeper. So the minute that starts happening, he's up, shield, mace. He's imagine he hasn't heard any screaming like he's usually used to.
Mm-hmm. Interesting thing to get used to.
Yeah, where he's from.
Yeah. As you go and you open the door, you see the father of I'm drawing a blank on her name right now. Felicity. There we go. You see the father of Felicity there, and he's like, she's asked for you and your friends.
Oh.
Now.
Oh.
Vala doesn't even bother, like, she's still wearing like her nightgown, but she
Mhm.
uses disguise self
Okay.
to like throw on some clothes,
Just let me put my face on.
pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hair's
Oh.
immaculate.
Yeah. Oh, quick. I mean, as a freedom fighter, I'm used to being quick with
Mm-hmm.
getting ready at a moment's notice.
Okay.
So,
as you all kind of come into the room, the first thing you're kind of surprised about is you come in and you can see Felicity is not in her bed. She there's a small table in the room as well, and she's at the table, and you can see her just kind of digging into a plate of food. And as she sees you, you see her kind of cover her face a little bit and swallow things, and she kind of cleans herself up a little bit, and she comes over and she just wraps her arms around whomever is in the front.
I think Rowan it would have been Rowan because he was checking on.
Mhm.
I think the first thing he would ask the father would be like, "How long has she been awake?"
Uh,
And making the talk like if he says anything like he's trying to he's going medicine mode. He's checking on his patient.
Yeah, he doesn't even reply to you. He seems upset that he has to get you guys. So whatever has happened, he seems not pleased with it. And so she wraps her, and she's a fair, like she's a good foot shorter than you. So she wraps her arms around your neck. She literally kind of jumps on you and kind of wraps around, and like her legs swing. And she plants a kiss on your cheek, and then she drops down. And she goes over to Argenta and like gives her a hug, and then goes to Lilianne, gives her a big hug, and then goes to Vala and gives her a big hug. And she goes, "Daddy, can you go get some more food for them?" And you could see like a little vein in his head. "Yes, sweetie. I'll go get food. It's not like I'm part of the Elder Council here or anything like that." And he just grumbles his way off.
Rowan does not make a nonplussed about anything. He's just like, not entirely the reaction I was expecting.
no, be on your father. Yeah, and I was expecting.
He was talking about Felicity.
Oh.
Daddy's just mad that I haven't told him everything that happened yet, because I wanted to thank you all first, and because of how he described you, I thought you all might enjoy this story a little more than he would. Come on. And she goes and she sits down.
Rowan isn't asking her, but he's like looking like he's asking it as his like, is she okay?
So, you're all probably wondering how I got in the tub, right? And where, well, right?
I think we pretty much know.
Yeah.
So
We have an idea.
I was. He used that wand on me. And I made a lot of tapestries and just an unbelievably large amount of cloth for him. And then that old wizard guy, he would cast spells on them and then they'd look really boring, to be perfectly honest. But no matter what he did with that damn wand, he couldn't get me to, you know. And so he decided at one point that he didn't need it anymore, that it was causing more problems than it solved. And so he,
Didn't need what anymore than was.
yeah, he had this wand that could, I think the wizard called it a Gaius or something like that. I
Yeah.
don't know. But he had a wand that did it for him. He couldn't cast himself out of a paper bag. I mean, he was completely inept. But he had a thing for me. And no matter what he did with that damn wand, he couldn't get me. So anyway, he decided he didn't need it anymore. And he ended the spell. And he thought that his power was really intoxicating. And I played along for a little bit. And then he got a little fresh, and I may have slapped him once or twice, and then split his lip, and then gave him a black eye, and he started ending up getting potions to make sure that no one else saw, that every time he got close to me, I would just, well, then he started going, and I mean, I gave as good as I took. And one thing led to another, and he tried humiliating me more, and every time he came up with something new, I'd find a way to get a swing in, each time. Well, things got a lot worse. But he never got me to submit, ever. And as far as I can tell, we never did anything.
Roland kind of like just looks down. He doesn't say thankful or anything. He's like he is grateful that didn't happen. He lets out a sigh.
But it felt so good every time.
I
Connected.
I can
I
imagine.
better did.
And he went through so many, because he couldn't, every time someone came in, he'd have to drink something because he couldn't let them know that I did anything to him. He really thought that I would somehow be attracted to him. That something he did would make me swoon. He
Roland
was a
kinda
very
realized
sick man.
Roland, because if he did anything else, he would have lost.
Well, you don't have to worry about him anymore.
Yeah.
He was burned to a fine white powder, and then that powder was disposed of.
Did we ever? Because she said, like Roland's thinking back. Did we ever see tapestries?
I think
The
she
elven
means
cloth.
Yeah,
I think she
all of
means the ones that were covering the
Yeah, the
traps.
reason that
Yeah.
you guys couldn't tell, you couldn't find any of the traps visually, is because she effectively just made tons of cloaks of Elvenkind, or she just made really, really high quality cloth that could accept an enchantment, and through a combination of illusion magic and just knowledge of arcane abilities, the wizard was able to basically transform each one into a pseudo cloak of Elvenkind, so that as long as they weren't moving, they were completely indistinguishable from the
Because in my
ground
head, I
around
have an image of what a tapestry is, and so I was wondering. But so she was basically making the she was part of the manufacturing of
Yeah,
the dungeon. Okay.
She effectively, because in order to create something like any kind of magic item, the base item itself has to be of an extremely
Fine
high
quality.
and so someone of her skill level is required.
I know what I must do.
Daddy's been kind of upset about all this. He's a little bit protective of me.
You've been gone for a while. I don't know if you
Yeah.
if you recall.
Well, I'm just saying, maybe don't give him all of the details.
We filled him in as best we understood, but we didn't have all the details.
Yeah. I mean, we told them what consistent we found him, but that would be if we always knew at the time.
Dinners
Felicity,
are
as far
going
as he
to be
knew,
awkward for a while.
Felicity, as far as he knew, you weren't. He was scared to admit what the worst could have been.
Well, I don't understand how that damn spell works, but for whatever reason, he was never able to get me to do anything like that against my will. I mean, some of the things I remember doing, I'm not particularly fond of, but never that. It's strange.
One, Felicity, you are an amazing individual. Two, regardless of how, I hate to use the word well, you come out of the situation, this is something both you and your father are going to need to deal with for a very long time.
I know. I was kind of hoping if we didn't talk about it, then it didn't matter.
We're probably gonna need to be talk about that stuff, right?
I think if you can manage anything, you can manage your father.
Yeah.
I think you would find comfort. You would find yourself even then.
Yeah.
Also, he was dealing with any of a number of possibilities that were all of them, which would have been his nightmare. Dealing with all the possibilities as opposed to dealing with the one answer would probably be better for him.
Yeah.
I did say that we were I know what the problem with the room. I mean, I'm not a parent, but I imagine as a parent.
You're probably right. Well, anyway, I just wanted to thank you. Because I know if you hadn't come, well, who knows what he would have done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, though, and she turns towards Argenta, he had an obsession with you. Like, it was creepy, to say the least.
I don't think I was supposed to survive one of his traps a long time ago, and he never let that go.
Oh, no, I mean, he tried to get me to dress up like you.
Hmm.
There was something very wrong with that, whatever he was. But something about you. Anyway, I'm going to finish my meal. One of the more annoying habits. He didn't really let me eat much. Worried I might lose my figure. didn't quite understand just how much work goes into weaving and embroidery.
Of
And
course.
learning how to fight. Anyway, thanks again. And she goes back to her meal.
As we get up, as we remote, next time we go through here, if you ever want more fighting weapons, you know where we're at.
She seems genuinely enthused with the idea. By the time you guys are done, it's about mid-morning. You see the inn itself has cleared out a lot. Most of the people that were here partying last night have kind of gone back into the town to try and start salvaging and start picking out homes and the things like that. What do you guys want to do?
Have I been able to connect with him about it all?
Balthazar would have been waiting just outside the room last night when you guys came up, so you would have been able to talk with him. Terrace, you actually haven't seen since you brought her back.
Alright.
So if you'd like to go find her, it would not be difficult to find her.
I would. I don't know if anyone else will go with me, but I will.
Okay. Is anyone going to join the Leanne, or do you guys have other things you want to take care of?
Well,
I need
does Lillian want us to come with?
I mean, if you want to come, I won't say no, but
Sorry, I was gonna say Vala is gonna go talk with the team that is going down to clean.
Okay. The team itself is probably not, hasn't even formed, and when you kind of ask around a bit, they're not planning on going down there probably for another few days. They're kind of doing it. They have people kind of posted outside to make sure nobody goes in. But because of how you guys have described it, they think it'd be better to have the best of the best go down there. And so it's going to take a few days for them to get everyone they need.
Right, so here's what I need. I need some bolts of elven cloth.
Okay.
I want to make a tent cover. So I can have a tent that can hide in plain sight in the forest.
Okay. Normally, that would be unbelievably expensive.
The cloth already exists, though.
I was about to say, because there are so many of those things down there, they probably won't be able to harvest enough for you while you guys are here, unless you decide to stay for a few weeks. But they basically told you, yeah, you guys did enough. We'll save all of it for you.
Also, couldn't we just go down there?
If you guys would like to, you're more than welcome to.
Vala's instinct to just go down by herself into the trap-laden
You
dungeon
know something bad will
is
happen.
peak Vala, and I am not going to do that.
Vala would go down there and she'd come back up like some
Or
abomination.
there's the first several areas we do know what we're looking for.
Obviously, you guys didn't miss any traps while you were down there, of course.
Right.
No, we know to look for it and take our time, but still.
No, basically, I'm like, I could just go down there myself. Wait a minute. What would Argenta say? What would Lillian say? What would No, I can't. I have to stop and count to 20 before I make any action like that.
So yeah, you think the next time you come through town, they will probably have something for you.
Excellent. Then after talking with them, I'll kind of help out around town wherever I can,
Okay.
see what people are doing. Just make myself useful.
So Argenta, do you have something that you're doing?
Not exactly.
Okay.
I'm just sort of relaxing while everyone does their thing.
Yeah, I was about to say you all are kind of celebrities right now, so
Yeah.
no one is going to stop you from just sitting down and drinking. So if
No,
that is like
Roland.
how you would if that's how you would like to use your day, you are welcome to.
Yeah.
I know Rowan would like to talk to Balthazar, but I don't know if Lillian wanted to talk to Terrace first.
Well, let's start with Lillian. So
Alright.
Lillian, you kind of ask around about Terrace, and everyone keeps saying that they've seen her recently, but she's not here. And they keep going, oh, I saw her go that way. And so you eventually kind of make your way through most of the town. Each time finding a new person, going, oh, yeah, I saw her go that way. And you eventually get to the very edge, of the town. And you see a figure on the ground, prostrate, in front of what looks like a makeshift altar to the Dark Lady. And you can hear kind of prayers being said, but this specific kind of form of prostration, like it's relatively common when you're praying and things like that to put yourself into a kind of humbled position. But the particular position that she is in, she's face is literally on the ground. Like this is full kind of subservience, humility, generally reserved for people asking for massive amounts of forgiveness. With your particular training, you can get relatively close without her being able to realize you're there because of the fact that she's so focused on this. So it's up to you how close you want to be before she would realize that you're there.
I will get as close as I can. And not wanting to interrupt her, and I will kneel beside her. I won't go at Lola, but I'll start praying beside her.
Okay. As soon as you kind of kneel down and start saying your own prayer, you see like her entire body kind of seize up a little bit as she kind of looks over, and she kind of gets up. You see her like wiping her face and wipes it. Terrace, hi. You don't have to do that. Why are you here?
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. This is nothing. Don't worry about it.
I've actually been looking for you. I wanted to know how you're doing.
I'm and you see her kind of fight back something. I'm fine. Just everything in the city right now, there's just so much going on. I wanted some time alone, and we really don't get a chance to pray like we used to, so I was just saying a quick prayer. You really don't need to be here. Okay?
I'm gonna
No insight. She's lying through her teeth.
Alright. and I know you've been through a lot. Not
Just
just
just stop, okay? You don't know. You have no idea what I did. What I happily did. You have no clue. So no, you don't know. You don't know anything, okay? So just, and you can see like she's fighting back tears at this point.
you, you don't have to, but I feel that you want to talk. I mean,
Liliane, I'm not the same.
what happened?
You guys weren't the first people to go down there. And he wanted to see what he could make me do. And my faith was so strong. He just, for hours, they would scream, and I would bring them back from the brink of death so I could just keep going. And I was happy to do it. What kind of person does that?
There was not a control of what is doing. I mean,
I remember the joy, the glee, all of it's there.
remember, those that was not your own. And only hear what she wrote on the thing. Those that was not your own. He got evil. We said that he was going to talk to a man. Made him do those things. I mean, I can't promise that you won't have to live with that knowledge. Because clearly you are living with that knowledge, but it wasn't you, not truly. I know the kind of person that you really are. And you would not have done those things if you were under that control.
You see her kind of tremble for a little bit, take a big deep breath in. Liliane, I don't know how to move forward. I've been here for 4 hours. And it doesn't matter what I say. I don't feel like I'm ever going to be clean.
You may feel that way, but if you let yourself live in that, in those feelings, that you were the one. The best thing you can do is live and best that you can. I know it hard now. I mean, some of the things that I know I've done, some of the things that I allowed to happen when I was here before. That's something that I'm going to have to live with. This is something you have to live with, but the best way to move on is to prove to yourself that not you, that
You see, she wipes another tear. Thanks, Liliane. And she kind of realizes, like, she's covered in dirt from being prostrate so much. She kind of wipes it off. There's a lot of work to get done, and
Yeah.
Balthazar's trying to get the church back on track. So, I should probably get going. She comes over and she kind of takes your hand. Thank you.
and thank you for everything you did for me before, and everything you did for me and my friends before.
She kind of brings you in close. Whatever happens, you better come back. All right?
I will.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Alright? And I'll embrace her and her.
You see, she seems kind of stiff when you start, and then she just kind of melts and wraps her arms around you, and you guys have a nice, very kind of intimate friend moment. And once it's over, she kind of pushes you away and wipes some tears away. I'm gonna go be useful.
And I'll walk back with her.
Okay.
I'll talk as much as you want, or I'll just be silent, but
On
and
the
then I'll spend the rest of the day and helping
okay.
with the houses.
The conversation that you guys have tends to focus a little bit more on your time together at the church and kind of reminiscing a lot. That being said, Rowan, you wanted to go speak to Balthazar, right?
Yes.
So it takes you a little bit of time to find Balthazar, just because every time you get somewhere where he's supposed to be, he's already been there and has gone to the next place. So it takes you the better part of about half an hour to finally find him. And when you find him, you see him using, is it mold earth? Using magic effectively to kind of clear out some areas and help kind of move some debris around. And as he's sitting there, he notices you, goes, Relwyn, wonderful. We're trying to get this wall off of this cellar door. We think there might be something in there. Would you give us a hand here?
Roll. I can't believe Rowan would do this, but yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. We actually did have a long rest, didn't we? I should
Yes,
have
you did.
that. Oh, and then click something.
You had a nice long rest in a fluffy bed.
I think for the first time, because like Rowan has been taught to hide what
Mhm.
you are, what you do. Um, he, his first urge was to do something like, no, if I do that, I'm gonna freak everyone the hell out. Uh, but instead, he is going to is like, are they trying to like clear the debris?
Basically, a wall has fallen on this cellar door. Like one of the cellar doors is uh, what do you call it? Wizard of Oz style thing where it's got the double doors that open and then you go
Yeah,
downstairs.
storm
Basically
cellar.
that, and there's an actual wall that has fallen on top of it, and he's basically molding earth to kind of pitch it up a little bit. And there's a few other people that are trying to lift off, but it's a big wall that they're trying to get off
Oh,
of.
so they're not trying. They're actually trying to. They're not trying to break it apart. They're trying to
They're
take
trying.
the whole
They're
wall up.
Yeah, they're trying to get it off of the cellar door right now to be able to get into it. And it seems that their plan is to literally take the wall and just do one of these things to where they just kind of tip it off. And it's big and bulky. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's just like
It may
so.
not be the best idea, but it was the idea they had.
Would taking the wall apart be better?
If you think you can. Again,
No,
it's.
no, no. He postures that to Balthazar. Is just like,
Oh, Balthar goes, theoretically, it might. We were hoping to use the wall
oh,
as
I
part of the
suppose
rebuilding process.
that's fair. I guess I am gonna have to do something. I guess I am gonna do that. He, I well, actually no, I don't think he actually could do that. 'Cause he needs something strong to do that. Um, he's trying to hypothesize about what he could actually do to help with that in regards to molding earth. So I can do my best. What would you need?
Well,
Um,
we've got 4 people lifting the wall. If you want to help lift it, that's always a possibility.
I'm not exactly known for strength, but I would be happy to help in that way if I can.
If
If
you've
you're
got
just
another trick up your sleeve, you're welcome to do it.
Can you are do they have like are they using like lashes and ropes and stuff to like I'm guessing pull as much as anything else or
Right now, it's 4 people that are literally just lifting with one end of the wall kind of propped up by some dirt, effectively, that has been raised out of the ground. Nothing about this looks to be incredibly efficient.
can we does we have lashes? Do we have anything it would have to be quick, but I think I believe I could do something quickly.
One of the people
Um
goes over and gets a fair amount of rope. Is this what you need?
lashing basically to pull the wall.
Sure, how you want to do it?
Well, imagine like if you had like people on one side and you had a team on the other that would
Oh, yeah, no, totally.
that type
Totally
of
get what you're saying.
situation.
Uh,
So basically I will do that when they're ready to go and yeah, like Roland's going to do his best and go, so, yes, don't panic.
okay. Why don't you make me a strength athletics check with
No.
advantage?
Oh, no.
Oh.
You're misunderstanding what I'm doing. Roland is going to conjure a Celestial.
Okay.
And it's likely I do have that there. So I didn't have anything like basic. What he's gonna summon. Yeah, it's only gonna be for a minute, but I think it's if he has to, he'll do what he
Hold
needs to
on
do.
1 second.
Okay.
Headphones are dying. Sorry.
But time this well. There's a hell of a lot you can do in a minute.
Yeah.
And
So as you conjure the celestial, everyone is kind of like in awe as this being of angelic,
brings his hands together.
this being of angelic radiance kind of appears before you. In their right arm, you can see this kind of gleaming shield with the
Well,
image
I
of
don't know specifically what I can.
Oh,
They don't.
okay.
They have like a choices of things and strange things. Like an angel's actually outside of my wheelhouse. What I can do, but what I can summon is a winged bull.
Okay. So they see these kind of majestic wings start to kind of form out of light, and then they see the kind of broad shoulders of the bovine figure, and it turns into this kind of very large, majestic bull. And the bull just kind of looks at you, looks around for an enemy, doesn't see one, and kind of just gives you this look
It
of like,
doesn't understand me when I summon. It's like going, we get to do something other than fighting today very quickly, and like immediately they're gonna like, I need you to do your best effort so we can prop this up.
and he just kind of like, just with his eyes, he just looks at you like, really?
Well, it's the communication we have. Is just like
Yeah.
you get to do something that isn't inflicting pain on others. Must be a rarity.
And he goes and he kind of positions himself to kind of help lift it up, and in less time than he has there, you guys have no problem getting the thing off, and a few people start opening it up, and uh, as he as that happens, they're able to kind of get in, and it doesn't seem like there's anyone trapped in there, but there are a lot of supplies and things like that, so everyone seems it seems like they're really pleased about it. And so after it's all done, Balthazar goes, well, certainly nice to see you. Is there something I can help you with?
Yes, I need to go see your collection.
Oh, oh, okay. William, and he brings someone over. I have something I have to take care of. Here, and he tosses one of those pearls that you guys have. If you need something, just call. If you are ready, and he kind of gestures for you to follow him.
I see the sheriff has introduced you to that little item.
They're remarkably useful.
I have to return his, before I leave.
So we go down. You can see his various collection items. Was there something in particular you were interested in?
My first question is, are you going to be teaching them, and he points to the collection, what's here?
Oh, most definitely. The perverted teachings that have been taught here have been taught for far too long. They've given me control of the church, and I intend to reform it.
That's good. You know that you'll probably have to instruct them on how to keep this secret if they ever have his people show up.
Oh, I've made the decision that...
He wants this corrupted.
Absolutely. And I've made the decision that I will no longer be helping that happen. If that means that we have to leave...
I mean to deceive people that you are maintaining the status quo.
Absolutely. And if that's the way you prefer to live your life, I see no problem with that.
I don't want to see these people torn apart.
I've discussed it with the ruling council and the sheriff, and we no longer feel like living in the shadows. No matter what happens, they will know the true Dark Lady in Scornmo.
I suppose I am glad for that, then. I don't know her true words. I was wondering if I might be able to have one of these. What I know from a connection that I've had. But what has been allowed is lies. I've never had access to... No, when I say truth, I know that I say that with a grain of salt because I've learned very easily that truth is subjective, and people have a way of twisting beliefs to fit their narratives.
If it will provide you comfort, You are welcome to take any item you would like. However, I sincerely doubt these will be anywhere near as valuable to you as your friend Lillian.
It's just simply resources I wish to go over that people have made great lengths to deprive people of.
Absolutely. But these are wishes. These are people reaching out, realizing that there's something wrong. Your friend Lillian actually knows the truth. I would strongly recommend you have a conversation with her.
Oh, I understand that. I'm simply looking for resources and reference, I suppose, to be more than
My
anything
collection is entirely at your disposal. Though, I would hope you would leave me at least a few of the writings. Some of these are my own, and makes it slightly easier.
Oh, I'm looking for scripture that basically would be seen as heretical here, but more
You
along
see
the lines
him
of
kind
what
of move around,
worship is.
and he goes and he gets this small leather-bound, looks like a journal. I have no idea who it is that wrote this. Throughout the entire text, he simply calls himself the Seeker. But everything he writes in here is every single problem he saw in Scripture and his own solution to make it seem like it made sense. Probably start here for you.
That sounds excellent. Thank you. The next thing I have to say, I guess there's no other way other than how I was introduced to the information. This world is a lie. I don't know how much you realize of that. And the more I've been informed of, it's entirely possible you're not from here.
There are a lot of possibilities out there. Answer me this. Let's say you're right, that I'm not from here. Is it going to change anything for me right now? I'm still going to stay here in Scorn mode. I'm still going to rebuild the church in a way that I think the Dark Lady would actually support, so while it's very possible you are 100% right, I don't think it really matters right now. We can deal with that at a later time.
That's to inform you because it may matter later on.
Possibly. But as of right now, as fake as this world may be, it's real enough to everyone that lives here that I'm willing to treat it as real while you all do your dismantling.
No, absolutely. It's also, you may be of an aid in more ways than one. You have knowledge of that you shouldn't have, but you do.
It's possible. I've often been told that I have ideas that are not my own. I've simply stopped arguing or wondering where they come from. I had a mentor many, many years ago, possibly before you were even born. He once said to me, "The world may be ending, but for the time being, I am going to act as if it will continue tomorrow. And you would be encouraged to do the same. While the world may be ending, the people that tend to change the world and stop that end always seem to believe that it'll be here tomorrow.
think I'll be very interested to hear where you're from when we realize this.
I will be as well. Regardless,
Thank
I
you.
have much work to do, and I think you have some reading to get to. He comes over and he kind of claps you on the shoulder with his very large hand. Relwyn, no matter where you come from and where you go, understand, just by existing, you have changed the world. And as far as I can tell, that change has been for the better. Take solace in that fact. Not everyone can say that. I will see you later, my friend. And he goes back up.
Rowan takes the book and just as a passing glance on it, he doesn't read it in depth right now, but
The first page starts.
he takes his amulet and puts it on the outside.
Okay.
He has no intention of hiding it unless it's absolutely necessary.
As you kind of glance through, the first page starts off something to the effect of, I may be branded a heretic, but I can no longer live the lie that has led most of my life. All the words contained herein will probably lead to my death. But for the rest of my life, I will speak her truth. And then it goes on. Unfortunately, that is where we're going to end it for today. As always, if you missed any of this, I do upload all these to my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/TraderJody. Otherwise, again, that is all for me today. I will see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.